Originally, this channel was created for us to put brand building content that we can't put on our personal channels, or that we should just put together into one channel that's dedicated to that specific thing. And that's what we wanted this channel to be. So that's what this video is going to be. It's going to be teaching you the real basics of video editing, and we're going to show you the process you have to go through to put your first video on YouTube. Now, in the creator space, there's I would say three or four video editors that are really at the top. There's Final Cut Pro, which, if I remember correctly, is only for Mac devices. Then you got Premiere Pro, which is Adobe suite, which costs $700 a year for the suite. And then you got Davinci Resolve, which you can get about 80% of the app for free, and the last 20% doesn't include like GPU acceleration and all that, and it only costs $300 for a one-time fee. And out of those three, the ones that we use the most is Davinci Resolve. There's occasions where we go to the Adobe stuff, but it's pretty much mostly Davinci Resolve. Davinci Resolve is really an amazing video editor. It's being used for big movies. It was used for, I'm pretty sure, Thor in the Marvel series. It's used for big high production films. So it has a lot of tools and it can get pretty overwhelming, but if you push away whatever you don't need and focus on the tools that you need, it's a real nice editor for making YouTube videos. So you're gonna go and you're gonna install it, and you can choose obviously if you want the paid or the free. I 100% recommend taking the free and seeing if this is something you enjoy, maybe trying out other editors and seeing one that you enjoy the most, but we're gonna start with the free version. So you're gonna go and install it and open it up, and you're gonna be greeted with this project manager, and that's pretty much like a file explorer for all your projects. You can make folders, you can organize everything. So I have a folder here where I store the stream highlights. So we're gonna go and open up the stream highlights folder. We're gonna make a new project and we're gonna call it new video. Once we do that and we click enter, it's going to take a second and it's going to open up a new project in Davinci Resolve. Look at the bottom, you have a navigation bar and it says media, cut, edit, fusion, color, fairlight, and deliver. And those are the steps you go through. That's like the workflow you go through from start to finish of a movie. But we're not doing a movie here. We're not going to need all these pages. So we're going to start with the media page. The media page is where you would import all the assets and all the videos and all the pictures and everything you need to put on the screen to edit for the video. So in this case, we only have one video, so we're going to skip this page and we're going to go straight to the edit page. Now, if you're asking why I'm not going to the cutting page, it's a new feature they just added and I really despise it. I think it's clunky and it doesn't work well, or at least it doesn't work the way I would like to edit. So I go straight to the edit page and I ignore that. You can remove pages that you don't want by going to workspace, show page, and then unticking the page that you don't want to see. So now I'm going to go into my file explorer and I'm going to find my stream clip, and instead of actually pulling it into the media page, I could just pull it straight into the editing page right here into my media pool. Then it's going to ask me if I want to change my settings of my timeline to my video. You can click yes. I already have this timeline settings that I like, so I'm going to click no. Once I do that, I can take my stream highlight and I can actually drag it onto the timeline right away, and now it's ready to be edited. As you can see, if I scroll out using Alt and scroll wheel, it's really big. If I actually put my mouse here, it's about 4 hours and 22 minutes, and I have to cut that up into a 10-minute video. Now using Alt and scroll wheel again, I'm going to scroll back in, and we're going to start right here at the beginning. So we could see if we stretch out the audio that there's no talking up to here, and we want to cut out that initial part. So what I do is I put my index finger on B and my pinky on A, and I go between those two. You click B and it pulls out your cutting tool, and all you got to do is click and it will cut where that line is. And then you click A and it's your selecting tool, and you can select that clip and delete it. Now to delete it, you have two options. You have the backspace and you have the delete key. And if you click the backspace, it just clears that spot. But if you do the same thing and click the delete key, it will actually delete the clip and remove the space that was there. It's called ripple deleting. So now that we did that, we're gonna go through our video, the 4-hour and 20-minute video. We're gonna cut it up. Let's pretend that I edited everything. So I would just go around and find some clips that I like. And let's say I don't like this one, so I'm gonna click delete, and I don't want this. All right, so here's our final video, here's our rough cut. Now we're gonna move on to the next page. The next page is the Fusion page, and Fusion page is for doing visual effects, things like adding fire and gunshots and all these crazy things that you probably wouldn't do in your YouTube video. So we're gonna move on to the next page called the color page. So we're gonna go to the color page, and this is a very complicated page, very busy page. It can get confusing, so let me break it down in a very easy way. On the top right over here, you have clips. You click that, you want it to be open, and you have all your clips that you've edited below here. And each clip can be edited differently depending on how you want it to look. You go to the bottom left, and you have 1 and 2 here, and that switches between the basic settings for video editing, or sorry, for color grading. And those are the ones you want to play with when you're starting on YouTube. There's a bunch of things on the screen like these circles here, and these wave and graphs on the side, and a bunch of effects and everything. You can ignore all of those. Just focus your attention. I'm gonna close everything. Just focus your attention on contrast, saturation, and brightness. So we're gonna go and we're gonna move up and down the contrast. Let's say that I like, let's say I like that. Let's say I like that. Okay, beautiful. It looks great. So we're gonna go and we can actually Control C, Control V, Control V, and copy that edit onto all the clips in our video. And once we're happy with it, we can move on to the next page. Next page is the Fairlight page, and this is the page where you do sound design. When you have 200 sounds, you have a bunch of people talking in the background, gunshots, you gotta do all the sound effects. All that stuff goes into here, and again, we're not doing a full-fledged film here, we're making a YouTube video, so we don't need this page and we can move on to the next one. If you're curious why that page even exists, it's pretty much a stretched out version of the edit page. If you were to move this all the way up and make the video super small and all that, that's actually exactly what the Fairlight page is. Now we edited our video. Let's say we wanted to add some text. So we go to our effects library, and this is where we have a bunch of effects. And effects are pretty much add-ons to what you currently have. So if you click on a clip and you go to your top right, you have an inspector, this thing right here. An inspector is where you have all the customizable settings for your video and audio. So you could see video and audio. And let's say on this clip right here, Josh screams and it peaks too hard and it sounds really bad in the microphone. So I would go to my toolbox, audio effects, I would go to multi-band compressor and pull that onto the clip. And now it's going to normalize the audio, and let's say I want to remove it because it didn't make it sound better. I can go to my inspector while clicking on that clip, go to my audio and scroll down, and you'll actually see multi-band compressor right there, and you can delete it if you don't like it, or you can turn it off and test what it looks like off, and then smack it back on and see what it looks like when it's back on. If you wanted to add something like text, all you got to do is go toolbox, titles, and find text, drag it onto your timeline, put it where you'd like, maybe even shorten it to wherever you want it to be, and then while you're clicked on it, go to your inspector and change the text to be, "Hi, my name is Mike." And then we're just going to make this big again. We're going to go to video, we're going to move the x-axis, we're going to move the y-axis, we're going to put it down there. Let's say I don't like this font, so I'm going to go and look for my favorite font here, and then we can move the opacity to make it work the way we like it. So here's the deliver page, and this is the last step in the process of editing your video. Pretty much what you do here is you select what portion of the video you want to render out, you choose what format you want to render it in, and then you choose the location. It's super simple. So at the top, we're going to go and choose a name for it, and I'm going to call it New Video. And then I'm going to click Browse and find a location for it. I actually have a folder called YouTube Videos, so I'm going to go and drop it in there. Then I choose the format I want to render it out at. So I always recommend going MP4, H.264. If you have a graphics card, use NVIDIA, and then resolution and frame rate, you leave that to whatever the project was already at, and you can ignore the rest of the settings here because they're all complicated and you probably don't know how to use them if this is your first time using Davinci Resolve. We're going to go to Add to Render Queue, and when you click that and you look on the right, you'll added a new job. And this is pretty much the way you render things out. So you can render out different portions of the video at different times and make them different jobs. And pretty much once you have a job, all you gotta do is tell it run that job, and when you click render, you can see that it's running this job and it's actually done. You completed it in 3 seconds, so we can go and right click on that, open file location, and there is our new and edited video. And that's pretty much how you do it. I know I went through it really quickly. That was kind of the point, just to get you guys started, just to give you guys something to start off of and start editing your videos. And once you'll do it more and more and a bit of Googling, you'll really learn how to use DaVinci Resolve. It's overwhelming, but it's not that complicated. If you have any questions, I mean this sincerely, just DM me on Discord or comment below and we'll do our best to help you guys out. If there's anything you guys want to see, you want to learn how to use a feature in here like Fusion maybe, or you want to learn how to color grade properly or anything like that, comment it below. We're always open out to ideas that we can make for you guys. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more content that I just talked about, and we'll see you in the next one.